Ja, moin und guten Tag. Welcome to the Compendium of Discomfort. My name is Michael. If you didn't understand this first greeting, I must tell you that you're sadly unable to speak German. Not my fault. Welcome here. You might have not seen me in a while, which is due to some private stuff that I don't really want to talk about. But it kept me from being efficient at reviewing movies, and even this is like the second try to talk about this thing here in a coherent manner. The good point about this is I'm very distracted and unfocused and not that well together. So it comes quite handy, or it's quite welcome that the good people at Sakura just released, and it's a very limited release. It's only for 3 weeks. It's from May 29th to June 19th. 2 bundles of short films. So I can just watch 15 minutes at a time and then take a break and get my mind together and go on to the next one. And today we were going to talk about the first of these 2 compilations. I have started watching the second one, but I felt like I should get this video out before the streaming time is over, so you can actually enjoy these movies. And I highly recommend watching them, whether you're just interested in movies, you especially like short movies, or you like Japanese movies. And I assume if you watch this channel, you like Japanese movies. I hope. If not, what are you doing here? I mean, still welcome, still happy, but maybe you just enjoy me talking? Who knows? Anyway, so they're called Mirrorliar Films Volume 1 and 2, or in Japan they call them Season 1 and Season 2. And it's collections of 9 short films each, and they have absolutely nothing in common. Yeah, that's the point. You get different voices from different people. There's some from different fields of work. Some are filmmakers, actors, writers, musicians, whatever. Whoever goes there and says, hey, I want to make a movie, has a chance to join this project. I think that now it's season 8 or something like that. It just keeps going. It's very interesting. So if you're in any form interested in this kind of stuff, I highly recommend just go there, watch it, and then come back, or listen to me talking first and then watch it. But definitely watch it. It's very good. Like I said, today we're going to talk about Season 1 or Volume 1, the first 9 movies, and I will talk about the other 9 of Volume 2 maybe in 1 or 2 days. Might take a little bit. Anyway, today, Volume 1, movie number 1 is called Kyoko Out of Control. By the way, I have made 2 lists on Letterboxd. You can go on my Letterboxd profile or just check Mirrorliar Films. That's what it's called. Have I mentioned it? I don't know. And you might find my list, and you might find all the titles. I adjusted the English titles to whatever they called in their collection, because sometimes there was just the Japanese title. So the movies are all now findable on Letterboxd. I worked very hard here. It's something that I don't like. If I can fix stuff on Letterboxd, I love to do that. It's kind of my hobby. Anyway, the first movie here is called Kyoko Out of Control by Masaharu Take, who's mostly famous for boxing movies like 100 Yen Love or Underdog. But he worked, for example, on the Like a Dragon Amazon Prime series, which I haven't seen and most people don't seem to like. And he had 2 people acting. One is Tomochika, who most people have sadly seen in a Shion Sono film that's called Why Don't You Play in Hell, which I don't like at all. And Daichi Watanabe, who was in Asako 1 and 2, or World of Kanako, which I don't like either. But he was, for example, in Ichiko or My Sweet Grandpa Remedy. So he has made some good movies. Anyway, these two play two people. One is a lady who gets out of prison, and the other one is the guy who was sent to pick her up by her very shady partner. And she's quite angry about the situation, that he's not coming, and she knows that he doesn't really care about her anymore and probably has a new girl anyway. So then they're driving. She has various kinds of appetite, and that needs to be satisfied. And there's some interesting fun situations. It's well acted. It looks very nice. It's very well done. The only issue I have with this film is that it's basically like a prologue, and in the end you get something that looks a little bit like a following next episode something. No, and I don't know if this was actually continued like they promise. I think there was a to be continued, and I don't know whether or not it has ever been continued, but I wish it was, because it's a pretty promising start for a story. So I believe this is the only movie that feels like it's not finished and is just a appetizer for something bigger. That's the only thing I can really complain about this movie, and that's the only type of film, at least in this first collection, that does this. And it's fine the way it is. You can actually just imagine the movies that might come and enjoy that. It's probably not all that deep and complicated, but I would like to actually see it. Good stuff. I enjoyed it. A good start for this compilation. And the second one was even better. That's a movie called 3 Dateless Dudes Plus 1 COVID-19, A Deadly Battle, by Nobuhiro Yamashita, who you might know as the director of Linda, Linda, Linda and some other good stuff. And then we have actors, for example, Hiroshi Yamamoto, who was, for example, in Linda, Linda, Linda. And we have Takeshi Yamamoto, who was, for example, in Linda, Linda, Linda. And we have Shohei Uno, who wasn't in Linda, 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 but he was, for example, recently in The Rental Family, or in We Made a Beautiful Bouquet, or Cult. And then we have Shingo Mizusawa, who wasn't in Linda, 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 but in Mr. Long or Love and Other Cults, or Nemuru Baka. So, good stuff. And they basically play some dudes who are at the beach talking about picking up girls and having lots of erotic adventures. And one of them is like, I'm gonna quit this. And then we cut to 10 years later during the pandemic, and they're basically having the same conversation, like, now I'm actually gonna quit. And we get the story how this plays out, and it plays in a quite subtle manner. It plays out how the situation might actually affect these guys, and it's not very direct. It's very like subtle. It's somewhere there's some hints that might tell you what's going on, and it's very nice and beautiful and fun, and it's a good movie. I mean, what else would you expect from Nobuhiro Yamashita? I haven't seen any of his movies that were like bad. So good stuff. I really, really enjoyed that. And then sadly we get straight into the worst movie of the compilation. And when I say worst movie of the compilation, I think it's still kind of okay. It's okay to watch once, but even while you watch it once, it's a little bit dull, because it feels like a movie where the person who made it, in this case Ryo Hanada, felt like having a really smart and cool idea, which actually isn't all that smart or new or interesting and has been done a million times in better ways. And there's a metaphor with a goldfish that's not half as deep and smart as he might think. I don't know. I didn't enjoy this movie all that much, but at least it looks good. So it's a very beautifully filmed movie, very stylish, very slick. And yeah, on that side, it's totally fine. But it's basically about a young girl who lives in a house with her mother. And mother always wears this protective suit when she goes out, and she says, if you go outside, you die, so you must stay in. And from there on, you can already guess what's gonna happen, and you will be 100% correct. So, yeah, it feels like, let's say, a very young person had an idea that they feel like is very deep and smart, and many other people had the same idea and were better at putting it into a movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. You watch it once, you see some nice images, and then you forget it because the movie before and after are much better. And it's okay. Let's go to something more interesting, as that's Petto. And I'm not sure why it's called Petto and not Pet. You could just call it Pet in English. And there's an actress that's called Mizuki Yoshida, who you might have heard, not seen, in a Look Back, where she was one of the two leads. We have Mayu Yokota, who was, for example, recently in Sakamoto Days. And we have Aoba Kawai, who is one of the Hamaguchi standard actresses, was, for example, Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy or Passion. And we have Tetsu Watanabe, who was, for example, in Silence or Shin Godzilla or Kurosawa's Dreams or Hanabi. So he was in everything that was somewhat slightly cool in the 90s and 2000s, and anywhere around that. And this movie picks up some social issues. For example, politicians who look down on young people not having enough children, basically blaming them for the situation Japan is in, and showing absolutely no understanding for their situation and the real world. Then we get another issue that I have mentioned in some review recently, that's called the papakatsu, so basically sugar daddies, or paid dating. So girls go on dates with older men, get money or presents, and sometimes, I talked in my review about Burn about this. This movie is much better. Yeah, anyway, it's a kind of paid dating that may lead to more than just dating, and may be a social issue. And in this movie, a girl from school seemingly does this, and all the other girls talk quite badly about her source of income, basically, and make fun of her and say, hey, her name is basically a brand and all these things. And then there's one girl who always listens to that, and she would like to be like a dog hairstylist, something like that. And she listens to them talking and isn't quite happy, because for her, this other girl is basically the greatest person alive. And someday, just by accident, she actually meets her after a long time. And they have some things that I don't want to spoil, because they're very, very fun and very interesting. And it's basically a movie that lives 100% from this last revelation in the last few minutes. And it's very good and very fun and very enjoyable. And more on the slightly funny side. And speaking of the funny side, probably the most comedic movie in this set is called Charge Me Baby by Ryotaro Nishi, which is a nice little light comedy about a guy who wakes up and has a cable with a plug in his belly button, and now he needs to charge himself to be alive, and he can discharge himself to manipulate electric devices. So he makes some toast and stuff and silly things like young people do when they learn that they have some superpower. But yeah, of course, he's basically just a battery. So when he uses his electric powers, his battery goes down, and if he is at 0 and there's the police who come to get me, if it's at 0, he will just die, because that's what you need. You need your juice, basically. And he has this new discovered power, a little bit Cronenberg-esque in its body horror comedy way. And a girl suddenly, as a girl who he obviously likes, suddenly sends him a message and is like, hey, you want to go out to this illumination? And you can guess whatever is going on after that. There's gonna be some very body erotic moment. It's quite silly. It's quite stupid. It's a lot of fun. It's a very light, mild comedy that won't make you think too hard, but maybe make you smile once or twice. That's all I need in life right now, or something. I don't know. It's totally fine. It's totally fun. Not the greatest movie in here, but a good and enjoyable, and that's sometimes enough. Then we have a movie that's called Untitled, which is more on the depressing, slightly deeper side, and in a way it's the other movie that ends quite open, but here it's absolutely intended to not give any conclusion to this issue. Basically, the whole movie is just one big question that's not being answered, and it's about a young director who is looking for some topic for her next movie, and someday she walks around and sees someone giving food to homeless people, and she's like, oh, can I help you? And suddenly this homeless girl shows up, and then we get some Kit Kat product placement, and suddenly she decides that she doesn't really want to help the girl. She just wants to make a movie about her, and that's basically the big question this movie asks. Should a filmmaker take advantage of a person in trouble to benefit from it, to use them to give other people some like poverty like the adult videos just about poverty, so people can be, oh my god, it's so horrible, but in the end nothing will change, because what changes after you watch a documentary about poor people? You feel like, oh, the world is so bad, and then you don't change anything. So is it ethical to just do this, to use these people to make your movie? And it's a big question, and it's totally fine to just make a 15-minute movie to ask this question. Works totally well. It's well done, it's well acted, it's good, and it's good that filmmakers ask this question themselves, like, what am I even doing here? Is what I do morally okay, or should I be doing something else maybe? Okay. Next one is a B-class cultural heritage. One of my favorites in this collection. It's basically a skateboarding movie. The only thing I can complain about it is that maybe I wish that the skateboarding was a little bit cooler, like a actual skateboarding movie, but it's a lot of fun. So basically we have the skateboarder who stops on a manhole and then gets a phone call that says, hey, it's very illegal to stand on this manhole, and now for 3 minutes we will aggressively attack you, and if you survive you will get a prize. And yeah, then he is like on the run for 10 minutes because suddenly the whole city is shooting at him. And yeah, the special effects are not all that great, but it's just a funny little movie about a guy on the run using his skateboarding skills to not being shot, and it looks good. It's a lot of fun. It's quite silly, and nothing wrong with that. So nothing deep here. It's probably the most entertaining movie. Maybe a little bit more style, a little bit more music video-esqueness would have been even cooler. A little bit more focus maybe on the music, which is already pretty cool. But this is the way it's done. It's already pretty nice, pretty fun, and good stuff. I enjoyed it a lot, but there's not that much to say about it. Yeah, a movie that's a little bit more interesting and deep, and some of you might ask, is it appropriate for the topic to make the movie this way? The movie is called Sakura. It's by and with Masanobu Ando, who is usually not a director. He's usually an actor. And you may or may not have seen him in Battle Royale or... no, not this one. The other one. Somewhere here. Not this one. The other one. Somewhere here. Yeah, here. Sakuran recently got a nice Blu-ray release by, what is it, 88? No, 88 Films. Haven't even opened the pack yet, but I have seen it years ago, and I don't remember it all that much, like the director. Let's do a little tangent to this. What's her name? Mika Ninagawa is usually a photographer and does these very, very beautiful looking movies. She's not the greatest at doing interesting characterization. That's a little bit of a weakness, but it's not as bad as some other filmmakers. So usually I like her stuff. There was just this one, was it the Holic, XXX Holic adaptation, was really terrible, but usually like her movies, I like them. They're very good. And yeah, he was in Sakuran, and he was recently in the Netflix City Hunter, which was very good. He was a Nightmare Detective and Monday. He was of course, let's mention one more, Rex, A Dinosaur Story. You should watch Rex if you can. It's wonderful. Anyway, Sakura, that's him. And then we have Takayuki Yamada, who is, since Crow Zero, I love him. In Crow Zero, he was the guy with the Hawaiian shirt who's just being silly all the time. And he's such a cool guy, and whenever he shows up, I'm delighted, and I just enjoy seeing him and doing stuff. And he's not too cool to just do a little cameo, like I think in Mika's Blazing Fists, he has this like few second cameo appearance. It's hilarious, wonderful, great guy. And last but not least, we have Aoi Morikawa, who was, for example, the wonderful lead in the actually pretty good Fatal Frame movie. Yeah, and she was in the not so good World of Kanako, which is by a director who I don't like because he has only style and nothing when it comes to characters, but I have talked about that in my Burn video. Yeah, we can't get around Burn. We'll get to that when we get to the best and worst of the year. It will be mentioned again. You might guess in which direction. Anyway, yeah, here, Sakura is basically a movie about kind of a love triangle. So we have Masanobu Ando's character, and Aoi Moriwaki, who are in some kind of relationship. And at the same time, she is having some other kind of relationship with Takayuki Yamada's character. And this whole thing is just, oh no, we're getting ahead. So she's having these two relationships, one more official than the other. And then the character played by Masanobu Ando passes away, and suddenly we have the story about grief and how are these two who are somehow in a relationship and somehow just friends, whatever, who suddenly have to deal with the passing of this person who was very close to both of them. And you would expect this playing out like a very realistic drama with very naturalistic performances. And it's quite the opposite. This movie does what I wanted the skateboard movie to be. It goes full on super slick music video style, and it's just so gorgeous. Has this amazing soundtrack. It just kicks ass, and it's so, like, on an audio-visual level, it's just amazing, beautiful, gorgeous. We have these scenes where you see them sitting like all on the same side of the tables, basically, like a Jesus with his, what is it called in English? I have no idea. The last time he eats with his gang. Yeah. Whatever, Christians, don't know, sorry. Anyway, so they're basically sitting there. We see them all face frontal, yeah, and they eat in a manner that's just disgusting, and then we get this like intercut with scenes of love making, or not that love making, but very like intimate scenes, at least, like kissing and yeah, and it's then we suddenly cut to a burnt body and a coffin at the sea and all these things. It's so stylish and completely unreal, and yeah, very, very well done, and absolutely not what you would expect from a movie with this topic, and that's pretty cool and great. Like, what is it called? A juxtaposition? Yeah, like this very emotional topic where you, like I said, would assume a very naturalistic movie, and then in stark contrast to that, this very unnatural presentation. It's just gorgeous, wonderful. I liked that a lot. And yeah, then we're already at the last movie, which is somewhere between the one we just talked about and the one with the I have this great idea, which isn't actually all that deep. It's a movie by Ayaka Miyoshi, who is usually an actress. For example, she was in the wonderful Dance With Me. And yeah, this is basically, I think it's her only work as a director. Yeah, but yeah, she made an interesting movie with I feel like the topic isn't that deep or interesting even, but it's presented in a way that I think is quite interesting and very stylish and gorgeous. And basically it's about a woman who has a very not so exciting lifestyle. We don't even know what she's doing so well, but she's just taking the same bus every day and doesn't seem too interested. And then she looks at some pictures she used to take with some girl in the pictures. And on the bus there are these little children who talk about like, my teacher told me I could be whatever I want to be. And you can guess the topic. It's about following and fulfilling your dreams. And the big centerpiece of this movie is basically her getting to a river where she sees a dancer dancing, and she decides to take pictures of her. And every time she takes a picture of her, there's like a blood splatter, like she's shooting her. Yeah. And I like that. It's very well done. The dancer, she, very good at dancing, obviously, and it looks very gorgeous and beautiful. And again, contrast with this very violent interference with this dance, this like violently following your ambition. Like, I have to do what I have to do. I need to follow this path no matter what, because that's the only thing I'm capable of doing. That's the only thing I can do. And it works very well. Like this whole idea, follow your dreams and so on, I don't think is all that deep or interesting or but the way it's presented here. So this is a case where I think the idea is good enough to legitimize the cool style. Yeah. Basically like Miss Ninagawa, who gives us enough like basic writing and groundwork to legitimize the great style. And so you don't go out disappointed like a movie like World of Kanako or Burn. So it's not my favorite movie in the set, but it's a good, interesting finish. And that's where we are now. Like I said, I highly recommend watching these. It's very interesting. It has various good, interesting movies, and even though I might not like one or two of these all that much, you might get much more out of it. And especially with the insight, that's a thing. Like recently, I completely forgot what it was about. It was some young person discovered that movies can actually like do references to other movies to do interesting stuff. And for this person, it was absolutely a revelation, a new discovery. I mean, for people like me who grew up watching, I don't know, all this like postmodern referential stuff where the movie is basically just one big reference, like, I don't know, Tarantino or something. It's not particularly new. And so I'm pretty bored of just movies that reference other movies. But might be the same here. Maybe this whole setting of someone can't leave their home, even though someone else can, might be a new idea to you. And then you might enjoy it much more than I did. So doesn't mean anything. My opinion doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy every movie in the set. It's very good. Give it a try. It's only available for 3 weeks. Same as Volume 2. And like I said, I will talk about that soonish. But yeah, I have some other stuff to do too. I can't just watch movies every day all the time. So bear with me. Give me a little bit more time to do that. And then yeah, I will be back with more stuff soon. I have like 3 or 4 videos that I didn't finish editing, and it will come. It will all come. I need some mental break time. I just wanted to get this out before it's too late and you can't watch it anymore. And yeah, took a 2-week break already, so yeah. Anyway, enough rambling and mumbling, and enjoy movies. Thank you very much. See you. Bye.